It's about to start. There it is. Well, g'day, folks. It's me. It's Greg. I'm back for another Friday edition of Friday Lunch and Learn. Today, we're talking about DAX again. Drop your DAX. It is last week we came to this piece right here where we failed miserably at finishing our human-created DAX measure. If you need to catch up, I have just uploaded those sessions to the YouTube channel. You can check them out. I'll get a link actually to the most recent one just to be really nice and efficient. Let me grab that link. Here it is, copy link. Pop it in the tubes. There we go. I don't know if it'll be optimized yet and all that kind of stuff because I did just do it before this session. But where we got to, we're building, as we're still building our favorite visualization. So we did all this good work in Dened, and then we realized that our normal line, our gray bars here, they kept changing year on year, and they shouldn't do that. It should be the normal temperature around this time of year. And so we spent all last week trying to think about how we would do this. I think the general approach is pretty good. We were going to filter a table around the year of day, and then we're going to create this average calculation to figure out the average max and the average min around this time of year. We created our normal range max upper calculation. It looks like this. Was that it? Looks something like that. No, that doesn't look like that's the right one. Oh, maybe it is. I can't remember. No, S normal max. No, not S normal, regular normal max. This one, this is what we created. And I got distracted by summarizing some columns, which was wrong. And so that's where I went off the rails last week when I decided that summarized columns would be a good idea. And I think Kirsty and maybe some other people correctly pointed out that why are we summarizing the columns? We didn't need to summarize the columns. That's what was causing all the issue. The reason why this visualization failed, so I couldn't display the visual, it was complaining about normal max, saying you can't use summarized columns in this way. Summarized columns and missing items may not be used in this context. And what it's saying is you can't use summarized columns as a filter table here. Apparently, you're just not allowed to do that in DAX, which I have run into in the past, actually. But it doesn't really matter because we actually don't need it. I think we can just get away with just the important filter is this one. This was the one that we actually saw was working, right? So we created I've got a couple of secret cheat tables, but we created this filter, which was filter the calendar between the less than max day of year and greater than the min day of year. And then that looked like this filtered calendar where we set the current date, which was day of year is 100 in this example. And then we wanted to ensure that we got all of the surrounding days of years. So we've got 10 up and 10 down from 100. So from 90 through to 110. So that worked. And then if we set it to day 5 and then hit enter, we get days 1 through 5 and 10 through 15. But we do not get the negative days, right? So what we should get is also day 365, 366, because that's within those 10 days because it loops around the year. And so this is part of the problem as well that we haven't quite solved yet. But we're pretty close with this filter. This filter is actually giving us the correct number of days and it's going across all years. So if I sort this descending here, it goes from 1999 all the way through to, so that filter's correct. So I don't need to summarize this. I can just use this. I realized about 3 seconds after I finished the session last week, which is always the way, as soon as you have some clear air. So we can just get rid of this summarized columns and it should theoretically help. Don't know if it'll work, but it'll definitely help. So we don't need to do this average temp business. Hang on, let me just think about what I'm doing before I get crazy. Okay, so we're going to average X over this table, the filter table. And we don't need average. We don't need to create a new column. We just use the calculation. We don't need this average temp business, I don't think. So create our average weather with data value. I'm going to average over the That could be max maybe. Anyway, let's see what happens if we do that. Oh yeah, we get some values at least. Okay, so we have a normal max value that now at least looks like it sort of works. What does it look like in a line chart? Let's create a line chart and have a look at it. Get our calendar date as the x-axis. Get our normal max as the y. And we haven't selected a year, so we've got all the years. So let's put in a year slicer as well. Slicer settings, make it a tile. Okay. Cool. It's very wonky, but it almost works. And it goes from the 1st to the 31st, which is nice. So that is only, so what's happening here? It's not doing the, it's not doing enough days. It looks like, and it's also not slicing on year. Is it going to change if I, yeah, it changes year by year. So we've got a couple of things still to fix. The first thing to fix is it's changing year by year because we've got a filter on the calendar, but we've also got this year filter, which is also affecting the calendar. We want to make this the average across all years, right? So we need to add in some kind of filter remover. I want to take the opportunity here to look at the difference between all and remove filters, because I think you can only remove filters in the in a calculation context. Is that right? In a calculate context? It's something like that. If I was going to do all here, where would I put it? Well, I have to do it here on the calendar, right? Because I'm filtering the calendar in the current context. That's what that basically means. Because I haven't done anything to calendar before I do this filter on the greater than and less than. So if I'm going to put it all in, I'd put it in here. Now, this is what I'd normally do, and this is because I learned DAX before remove filters became a thing. I don't know if is it possible to put remove filters in here under a filter context for a table?
No,
Is that?
no,
I don't think
you
it's
were
right.
right the first time. It can only be as
used
part of
here.
the calculate. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well that makes sense to me. Oh, that's looking smoother. And does it change? And it doesn't change when I go year by year. Maybe the meat popsicles are have got a win here. Now, oh, actually, I just saw a subtle change. Is that, yeah, between 27. Did you see this? Watch this area here of the line graph. When I go 2007, 2008, there's like one extra value. Is that because it's a leap year? Maybe 31st of December, 30th of December. Yes, I think is that a leap year thing? Yep, I think it's a leap year thing. Look at that. Get an extra year, extra day of the year. All right. That's pretty cool. So if this was working, then I've got this set to +4 and -4. I'm going to create a new variable for offset. Equals, let's say we'll make it 4, and then we say plus offset here. Oh, I can't really call it. I think offset's a reserved words. Let's call it offset days. Offset days. Okay, I'm creating a new variable called offset days, and then I'm just changing those 4s to be plus and minus the offset days. Hit tick. Nothing changes because I've changed it to 4. So if I change this to 15, it should smooth out, right? That's my hypothesis. It's smoothed. Did you see that? Look how smooth it is. Oh, so we were so close. We were so close. I reckon I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing that I changed during the week, I did this calculation and I had this drop. I don't know if you remember from last week, we had a little drop downy thing. That drop was caused by, actually, it was a data issue. Here in my weather data, I had values going back to 1906. Which isn't very useful when you're only doing from 1999 to 2019. And so I filtered all those data, all those values out because I had all these null and 0 values for like early. You can see, look at all these values where they're all 0, right? I don't think that helps. for our max temp anyway. So we had a bunch of bad data in there that was causing a bit of a weird thing happening in the graph. When I filtered to this, then this line chart now kind of works, which is awesome. And now we can do the same for our, let's see if this is the secret one that I created. Did I do exactly the same? Oh no, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on here. That's right. I tried to get it to fix up the drop, and I created some horrific DAX here. Actually, my friend ChatGPT did. We'll talk about ChatGPT in a second. I just want to create the same calculation for the min, which is pretty easy. I just create normal min. So, oops, wrong one. Normal max, copy all this, create a new measure, normal min, and I just need to change this to min. The beauty of having this as the way we calculate with that, we can just change the name of the measure and it'll give us the other measure. Okay, and then if I drag that into my line chart, well, we get the nice two smooth curves, which is what we're after. And it doesn't change when I click the year. All right, so we should be able to put this now back into our calculation. The way we do that, so I've currently got normal range max upper and normal range min lower. They're the old calculations. I'm going to change those over, drag these two in, delete those two. And then in the visual, in the denev visual, we need to remap those things, which we did last time, I think, as well. So change max to max and min to min, normal min. Apply mapping, looks good. Back to the report. And just with the magic of interactive Power BI, it's taking a little while to update, but no, it's working. So my gray line's not moving now, which is what I wanted. So that represents my normal temperature range throughout the year. And it's nice and smooth. What did I set it to? Did I set it to like 15 days, did I? So that's like 30 days either, like, yeah, a 30-day span either side. So it's basically within the month, but it's a moving month. I think the first 15 days here in January and the last 15 days here in December will only be 15 days, not 30 days. Because it's not wrapping, we haven't done anything to wrap around the year. So I was curious to see if I could resolve that. Hey, look at this first bar. There was a day in January that started at 25 and ended at 40. It's like way above normal. Wow, when was that? 2008. Hot year. Look at all these hot days too. What we'll do maybe next week is, 2019 doesn't have data towards the end. That's interesting. Is we'll update this to the latest data. I'd be really interested to see how this goes, looking at it throughout this year when it's going to be a really hot summer. So as we come into like the late part of this year, we should start to see big numbers here. Maybe we can color code this or something. Okay, so I was curious to see if I could get ChatGPT to do exactly what the calculation we just did, right? Because this is the human way of doing it. Took us a little while, but DAX is like that. You kind of sometimes it's a bit trial and error. I don't think I could have gotten to that any quicker. I don't think I could give ChatGPT a single prompt and get it to build this calculation either, and for it to be successful. But let's try. So we'll see if it works. So let's go to old ChatGPT. Our old mate, Vincent Vega. Although it's not Vincent Vega today, it's DAX. ChatGPT is horrible at DAX. Yes, it is horrible at DAX. I found that too. I think it's because ChatGPT doesn't have any reasoning type. Like there's something about the way, how you need to get your DAX brain on when you learn DAX. It's like whatever that is, it's not in the AI. Need to spend more time on GitHub. Yeah. All right. So you think it's because of the lack of documentation that we've created? You might be right.
Yeah, I reckon, because every single Python tutorial ever people
Yep.
upload it to their Git repository. Whereas with DAX, we just have like, well, I can only talk for myself. I've got notepads full of my DAX snippets and stuff rather than
Yeah. They're not out there in the world. It's a good point, isn't it? It's like, because, well, I mean, DAX has been around for a while because it came in with Tabular, right? So that's analysis
2012,
services
right?
2012 survey. Yeah. So
And until recently, you couldn't even get out your DAX code from it because it's embedded within the Power BI file. So you would
That's
have to do
true,
extra
yeah.
work to be able to publish
to
it as a
actually
text
even make
file
the
in
text out,
GitHub.
yeah.
Whereas now, PBIP, theoretically, the model.bims will be there, and it should make it easier for people.
Yeah, interesting. It would be
true.
interesting to see how all the XMLA stuff ends up happening. It'd be cool if, you know, with Copilot and stuff, maybe it'll be much easier to kind of steal everyone's models. Maybe Microsoft is going to do that on the back end and desensitize it and then allow us to do all kinds of wizardry.
So our only Copilot at the moment that we have access to is old mate here. It says Q&A not supported, which is a bit of a worry. Maybe it's just. Well, okay. So what am I thinking here? Average for category, average per day, rolling average. I guess it's like a rolling average. So you got fairly limited. We would have to. I don't think we'll even be able to get to it with this because we'll have to almost bastardize a different calculation, and I can't even get suggestions with Copilot at the moment because Q&A isn't supported. I thought Q&A should be. Maybe my Q&A's been turned off. Oh yeah, no, seems to work. Well, top measures by average temp. Come on, do that. It's not being very cooperative, is it? Okay. Oh, I guess it's Teams as well. Oh, there it is. Min temp, max temp rainfall. Oh yeah, because I've got that measure calculation. It's funny. All right, let's see how this guy goes. I have, of course, cheated and tried it already, but we'll so actually I will get from my so it says hello Friday lunch and learn. You can tell I was intending to show you this all along. I'm going to steal this prompt that I used at the start because it's going to take me a while to type out otherwise. But I am going to use a completely new chat. We're going to use GPT-4. We're just going to use regular ChatGPT. I guess you could probably do some code interpreter stuff maybe or something like that. There's lots of different ways you could approach doing code in DAX. I think maybe even Codex is probably pretty good at DAX. But yeah, I think that's what this Copilot is based. It uses Codex, I think, at this stage, but it might be over. They might have moved it to GPT at some point, but I'm pretty sure it uses Codex. I just remember someone saying that at some point. All right. Michael's fault for not sharing his DAX. That's right. It's my fault too for not sharing my DAX. Not that I do a lot of DAX, as you found out last week when I was horrible at DAX. I guess it wasn't that bad. We got there in the end. So here's my prompt. We're building a calculation in Power BI DAX to calculate the average temperature around this time of year. That was what we were doing. The temperature value, now this is, I think, important. I learned this when we were doing ChatGPT, and the first thing we talking about giving it enough context. If you're doing DAX with ChatGPT, and I learned this from Win Hopkins, actually, he's got a pretty good video on this and some helper stuff around using DAX. He's got some videos and stuff on using DAX and ChatGPT. He said you got to describe the table and the model in as much detail as you can, so that Power BI gives you, or ChatGPT gives you the right context. Has enough context to kind of do the things. It's also very helpful if you give it the names of the tables, because it will because it'll then write the DAX and you can just copy and paste it basically back into your model. So I said the temperature value lives in the weather data table in the value column, and you need to filter where the measure column equals max temp. So I have to put that in explicitly, otherwise it would just assume there's a column with max temp in it. The weather table also has a date column, which is related to the calendar table, which is a standard date dimension. I felt like it would know what that meant. From 2014 to 2020, and there's a day of year column in this table. So I'm explicitly pointing out there's a day of year column because I know that's important for this calculation. So this is where it's like, well, you need to know enough to describe the model in a way that is going to produce good DAX. So then there's that idea, well, you couldn't get somebody who absolutely didn't know what they were doing to kind of build this. They need to know at least enough about how DAX gets created for them to kind of understand. Like I've already gone through the process, and actually I did this before I fixed the other one first, and then I did this. And then I got it to do all sorts of other crazy stuff, and it didn't quite work. Okay, so our challenge is to calculate the average temperature for all days surrounding the current day of year. So if and then I give it an example. If the current date's the 3rd of the 1st, 2017, we should filter the weather data table to show only values that match the surrounding 10 days, the 360, 361, 362. I intentionally gave it the looping, the crossover of the year, because that's important. Because I say for all years in the data set, then calculate the average of these values. And then I say, how do we approach? I always ask it for an approach first, rather than ask it to do a calculation. It often will give me a calculation, even though I ask it for an approach, because if I ask for an approach first, I can sometimes, if it's too complicated, I can get it to do one step at a time out of the approach. And sometimes that works for me. So when this whole iterative idea, and this is what we did when we built the Deneb visual as well. I like using ChatGPT really iteratively and doing one sort of simple thing at a time. So I was interested to see what would come out with. And to be honest, I think it's going to give me completely different answers to what I got before. And I went through a few kind of hoops before, so it'll be interesting to see what it does this time. Will ChatGPT interpret 0301 as the 1st of March? It's a good question. Probably, maybe. I wonder if did I use any Australianisms within here? Visualization with an S or anything like that? No. Yeah, potentially. We'll find out. I'm going to assume. Oh no, I'm going to leave it. But yeah, I think if I wanted to be really, really pedantic, and this is good practice anyway when you're dealing with dates, is put the name of the month in, and then there's no ambiguity about the dates, and that helps our American friends as well. But I'm going to leave it because I'm a masochist. All right, see what it says. Oh, that's interesting. It is suggesting different things. It's saying the today function. Interesting. All right, first we need to create a measure or variable that will identify the current day of year. This can be achieved by using the today function and some date functions. Interesting. Second, we'll create the set of surrounding days based on the day of the year. Identify the current day of year for today. Yeah, I'm okay with that, even though we're going to pass it in eventually. We'll create a set of surrounding days based on the day of year. Finally, we use this to filter the weather data table for all the appropriate dates across all years. And then let's compute the average for the maximum temperature. Okay. So it uses a lookup value, calendar day of year, calendar date today. Interesting. That's the current day of year. Well, so that's not going to work in our context because we want to pass in the current date, but I'm not too worried about that. It's a variable anyway, so I can edit this as we go. All right. Oh, it's doing a union. Okay, it is doing completely different. This is tricky when dealing with start and end of the year, like the 1st of January and the 31st of December. It sure does. Here's a way to tackle it. Okay, get the previous 10 days, but ensure they don't go below 1. Filter the unique values of day of year. If the current day of year, so if we're looking at day 100, if 100 is greater than, and then if day of year is -10, less than 1, if our current day -10 is less than 1, then 1. Oh, okay, so it's filtering out negatives. Use the current day of year and the calendar day of year And current day of year is less than the current day of year. Calendar day of year is less than the current day of year. Okay. This, I'm not sure is going to work. Filter the current day and get the next 10 days, but ensure they don't exceed 366. Okay, fair enough. And then compute the average temperature. Average, filter, weather data. All together, it looks like this. Oh, it's got a, they use a contains here as well. Interesting. So we get our average temperature surrounding days, which is the lookup value. The current day of year, which is lookup value, then the day set, then the average X. It's actually, so it logically kind of follows the same thing that we did last week. We said, okay, first we need to filter the calendar, then we need to return the average. That's basically what we did. It's unioning two tables together. One that is the start of the year and one is the end of the year. Okay. Well, let's give it a crack. I just literally want to copy this code and see what it does. So create a new measure. Call this ChatGPT average max equals, and then I'll paste all this stuff in. And then I'm going to get rid of this. And then what's it got here? Days set, day of year. What's this day set? Is that the date table that it think? No. It thinks I can create a variable called days set and then use it here. And refer to the, well, that's not going to work. All right, so I'm just going to give it its error. Parameter is not the correct type. Yeah, this is what I think. Look up value is horrible. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I find interesting is that maybe you're right. If we just had a few more GitHub examples, because it's logically gets the right order of operations, it just needs more examples to be able to actually calculate on.
And
kind of gets
the funny thing is, like once you have the DAX written, it's really good at explaining each operation and writing comments. So I actually use it to document my DAX a lot because it'll just write those comments out and it'll be awesome. But yeah, writing fresh DAX, it just does not understand the filter context. And that you can't use table variables in the same way that you can use. I mean, DAX doesn't make a lot of sense compared to a lot of languages.
Yeah, it does. You try to use. I have noticed that as well. It tries to use DAX in ways that it would work in other languages, but don't work here, which I think is really interesting as well. See what it thinks of that. Okay, let's refine the solution. The contains functions requires a table, but we're working with scalar values. Instead of the day set being a table, it should have it as a list. Oh no, it's going down. It's going to use generate series. All right, this is interesting. Now it's unioning two generate series together. Oh dear. That's awesome. This generates a list of days by numbers rather than day numbers rather than a table. Okay. By adjusting the solution this way. So now he's changed our day set to be this. All right. I'll copy this. It should be var day set, shouldn't it? And then our average temp to be this. Which is just, yeah, that one. Current DOY, that should work, shouldn't it? Oh, it thinks of it as a column. So now, oh, it's a column reference. Okay. I'm going to say value for current T, the column doesn't exist. All right. I'm going to give it the error. I know what the error is, but it's trying to, it's called current DOY as a column here, but it's actually a variable. and error, column DOY. What was it? God. Current DOI, sorry. Column current DOY doesn't exist. So you worked it out. Variable in the main calculation. So now it gives me the whole code again. It's funny. I'm interested in when it decides to give me whole code, and sometimes it gives me snippets. Sometimes I'm feeling like it judges me, like you didn't copy this properly. So here's the whole code again. So you get it right. All right. Well, we want to make this, what do we call it? ChatGPT. AVG Max. Okay, weather data day of year. That's interesting as well. So now it thinks you can do this dot reference, which is like when you have that calendar table and then you have that date dot thing. When it's not a calendar table, I don't know. Actually, can anyone explain that what happens there? Can I even demonstrate it? If I reference our date is set as a calendar item, but when it goes, can I do this? Can I even come up with a equals? You know what? I'd see it's not doing IntelliSense. And the reason why is because this is set as a proper date table. But when this isn't set, maybe if I do it on filtered calendar, see if that works. Hey, you can do that. You can reference the hierarchy after it with the dot, that auto hierarchy. Anyway, I digress. I guess it's just a reference to the hierarchy. So it thinks day of year is in this hierarchy thing, and that we can use a dot reference to it, but it can't. It won't find it. Okay. Column reference to date cannot be used with the variation day of year because it doesn't have any. Well, can I copy this? I can. Awesome. It's a very small error, but I'll let him, okay, and say, just literally paste the error in. My mistake. I assume day of year was available to the weather data. Okay, doesn't work DAX doesn't work in that way. First need to link weather data, cables day of year. Then we can do this by adjusting. All right, what's happening here? So it's using that lookup value still. Related calendar day of year. This is really interesting because it's coalescing to almost the same solution that it came up with, and I'll show you the other solution when we get in a sec. But it used this related calendar day of year, and it's starting to coalesce around a solution that actually worked. All right, I don't want to change the name, so I'll do that. Get rid of this name. And so after several attempts, we get valid DAX, which won't work, but it is valid. So let's see why it doesn't work. This is just me guessing that it won't work. I'm pretty sure it won't work. So if I put a date in, and then I put in my ChatGPT average max, I get this. The argument in generate series function cannot be blank. Okay. So I'll tell it what I'm trying to do. I might not have given it enough context where I'm saying I'm putting this in the line graph. Okay. The measure has no errors. I cannot put this. All right. Apparently, the issue is when I put the measure into a line chart, it'll attempt to evaluate the measure for every single date on the axis. Yes, exactly right. Some of those evaluations will cause the generate series to be blank. And so we need, instead of carry it based on today, we need to base it on the current date context of the visualization. It's spot on. It's spot on. So instead of this, just use my favorite, max calendar day of year. Wow. So not bad. I'm impressed that it got that. So we just replace this to that. Now what happens? We got values. Okay. Let's put it in a line chart. Could it be that ChatGPT is faster than a human? Oh, that looks pretty good. Let's put a filter on year. That's pretty good. Now we still have to get the all in, but where does the calculation start? On the 1st, and it finishes on the 22nd of the 12th. Be a data thing though. No, 22nd of the 12th. 22nd. Starts on the 1st and finishes on the 22nd. All right. And it's very wonky. So it's not getting the average of the surrounding days quite thing yet, but we do have this year slicer thing happening. So, all right, I've got a couple of things to tell it. This works, but we need to add a year slicer to the page. So can we make it ignore the year? You can use all or all selected to remove any filters on the calendar table. Yep. What is it? Where is the calendar table here? It's not that one. It's just this filter. Is it going to be filter all weather data? Is that what we think? Am I smarter than ChatGPT, or faster at least? Calculate, average. No, it's not all. Okay, I'm not smarter. Oh, puts the all in here. Interesting. Is that going to work? I don't know. We're blindly trusting the ChatGPT world. I reckon it'll. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. All right. Yes, thank you for it. Puts nice little commentary in sometimes. We found that out when we were doing our DNED. Back to our chart. Reveal. No, didn't work. Shouldn't it be on the? Yeah, I don't know if it's. That's right. It didn't seem right to me. Still. Let's approach the issue step by step. Also, he's completely changing his approach. And I just gendered it to be a male for some reason. So it could be a female next week. And there could be other genders later. All right. Identify the current day and month. So we'll first identify the current day and month without considering the year. Yes, yes. So this is kind of where we got to as well, right? We wanted to get the current day and the current month and then ignore the year and then allow us to calculate the average temperatures across all years, irrespective of which year is selected in the slicer. Yes. So I probably could have, I think if I was to optimize this question that I first asked it, I should have told it about the year slicer piece in retrospect, because that does heavily affect the approach. Calculate the average temperature. When we use the identified day and month to fetch temperatures for the surrounding days across all years, calculate the average. Sounds good. I like your approach. And so what's it decided to do now? Current day equals day max. Yes. Current month equals month max. Okay. Var start date equals the date 2000. 2000. Current month, current day. Oh yeah, minus 10. I guess between 1999 and 2019. Is that right? I guess that's right. What does it say here? I'm using a base year of 2000 just to get the date operations to work. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for letting me know. All right. Well, I'm just going to copy this code. There's some really small scroll bar here that I don't seem to be able to hit. Oh, there we go. Okay, what's it doing? Yeah, let's. We always read DAX inside out, right? So let's what's happening in the middle here. We've got a average X over a filter over the weather. Oh, this just looks like the standard filter over the weather data, where the measure equals max temp, and the month is the same as the month times 100 plus the day. So it's doing this day relation thing. That's interesting. Between those and month, I don't know how that's going to work. Get the weather data value for all the calendar. Okay. So it's completely dropped the generate series stuff. What did the old one look like? Still have the generate series in it? Yeah. So it was selecting a day set. Now it's dropped that whole idea and is filtering instead on the month and the day. I'm on board with this. I'm okay with this approach, since it's the approach I used. Question is it valid code? Ooh, no. Parameter is not the correct type. Which one? The whole lot. What is happening here? It's calculating, then it's doing a filter to create a table like here. Weather data measure equals max temp, and the related calendar month times 100 plus day. Ooh, between, yeah, this is all sorts of weird. All right, I'm just going to tell it the error. Oh, it's apologizing again for the oversight. Poor old guy. ChatGPT is very good at owning its mistakes. I agree. We could all learn from that, couldn't we? Let's adjust the filter clause to get rid of the error. All right. Weather, month related, day related. Okay. What did it change? Oh, it's still generating. In this code, I've used start composite and end composite variables to create a single comparable variable for the start and end of our date range, and then a filter clause. Replace the between logic. This should resolve. Okay, all right, I'll just trust you. I'm blindly trusting you. Let's go. Well, no error. No whammies. It did it. That looks the same as ours, doesn't it? All right. So if what was mine called? Normal max. Is that right? Normal max. Let's overlay them. I don't see. Oh, look how close they are. Wow. And is that because mine's on 15 still? Yeah, my offset days is 15. Okay. Well, that's 15 minutes faster than what we did, or maybe even a little faster than that, because I had a whole extra week to think about it and then only actually did the calculation. Didn't take me very long, but that's fast. For a complex calculation, I'm impressed. All right. Let me see what else I want to add in the parameterization. So I'd like to select the number of offset days. e.g. select 15 and get 15 days either side. Should be easy enough to do. I could have handwritten this, but oh no. Oh, dynamically select the offset days. That's even cooler. I just thought I would add in a thing. Oh mate, I'm definitely going to create a offset days table in SQL. What? That's not how you create a table. You fool. Let's just make it a variable. That's, I guess it was technically right, but yeah, that's better. Okay. I'm still thinking about this 2000 year, whether that's going to be right. GPT still finishes short end of the year. We'll have a look at that. It might not be accounting for the wrapping and stuff, or doing a similar kind of thing. Anyway, let's have a look. That was the next thing I was going to check. As GPT, yeah, GPT is the blue line. It does. It finishes short, and it starts late. Starts late and finishes early. All right, so it's not wrapping. Okay, we'll get to that. First, let's get in our offset day selector so I can select the same number of offset days. Oh, I've got some ChatGPT text at the end. Lots of people getting in trouble for leaving in their ChatGPT text in their articles that they put in online. All right. And then it just uses plus off and minus offset days. Okay, that's good. I capitalized it. That's probably a mistake. But anyway. Well, look at that. With the same number of offset days, it's spot on. But does fall short. And okay, so if we remove now our normal max, let's put normal min in there so that we can at least have something to compare to. Yeah, so we got a short line. It ends on the 16th and starts on the 15th of the first. No, and starts on the 16th of the first and ends on the 16th of the 12th. Okay, that will be its final challenge. Okay, looks great. One more problem. I haven't actually. Well, I have to be nicer to it, don't I? Amazing work. Okay. One more problem. The line only starts the 16th of the first and ends on 16th/12. So it looks like if the number is in the offset period, it returns null. Yes, that behavior would be expected given the logic. Enough surrounding days to calculate the average based on the specified offset. Okay, so now we're going to do the wraparound. It even says wraparound. That's cool. To handle this, we'll adjust calculation for those days beginning and the end of the year. We'll wrap around to consider the days from the beginning and the end of the year, respectively. Here's how we do it. So now it does. Oh, what's it doing? Greater than start. Start day of year and end day of year. Start day of year, if current day of year minus offset days, total days in year plus current. It's done some crazy current day of year stuff for start and end date. Okay. Let's see if it works. I'm going to be super impressed if this works. Oh, is leap year. What the hell is this? All right. All right. Okay. Yeah, is leap year doesn't exist. Is not a DAX function. We'll create our own logic. Oh, here we go. It's going to create leap year logic. Oh my God, no. Don't do this. Oh, mod. It's using mod. Oh, cool. If mod current year 4 equals 0, evenly is divisible by 4. That's gold. If it's evenly divisible by 100, go to step 3. If it's evenly divisible by 400, go to step 4. Otherwise, go to step 5. That's insane. Who comes up with this stuff? Just some crazy leap year calculation that someone's done on the internet. That's awesome. I hope it works. It'll be so cool. Is leap year? If the year is currently divisible by 4, then it's not a leap year. Oh, and currently divisible by 100. I just cannot. I can't get my head around that logic. Oh, all right. Let's just see if it works. Yeah, it didn't. Well, does it work? Is that work now working and then flattening out for all other dates? Okay, I got to tell it what happened. You got the ends right. Okay. Okay, the ends look right. But the other dates are returning the same value whole period. So hang on, I just have to check what it's returning. 11. Oh no, it is actually changing. It's just really low. Oh wait, that's 2045. No, it's not changing. Addition inside the filter function. Okay, currently the filter is considering all days after the start date and all days before the end, which isn't the intended behavior. Okay. Okay. It's gone off in a weird direction, but that's kind of to be expected. All right, the issue seems to be due to the conditions inside the filter. Okay, we know that. Okay, we need to adjust the filter function. Yeah. If the current day is within the first offset days of the year, select both the beginning and the end of the year. If the current day is within the last offset day, select both the beginning and the end. Otherwise, just use offset days before the current. Okay, so just use your regular offset days. All right, I trust you, ChatGPT. I trust you with my professional life that you will get to the solution before the end of this session. Actually, it's probably better if you don't, because then the humans are the same as you. But anyway, you're really close. Oh, look at these colorful PS. There's a new update and there's colorful brackets. See that? That's green. That one's brown. This is a new thing. What did I miss? Invalid token. Did I only copy past of the code? I did, didn't I? Or did what happened there? Related, yeah. Cooked it. Hang on. It's a bit better. Get rid of this name at the top. Adjust our number. That's all fine. Now it's doing some crazy offset day stuff here to determine whether it's in the period or not. Oh, that doesn't look right. Oh, maybe it is. Did that work? Or is it still going? Oh, it is giving us an error. The syntax for something is incorrect. What have I missed? Missing a bracket? I can tell by the colors. Brown to brown, blue to blue. Man, this is, maybe it's that. Okay. I think that was just a mistake from before. Hiding at the bottom. Okay, hold on to your hats. Oh my God, it worked. Well, there you go. ChatGPT can do DAX, everybody. It's just takes a bit. It kind of followed the same kind of logic. What does ours look like compared to it? So I think that humans win on efficiency, right? On number of lines in the code, definitely. We definitely won on code efficiency. But it still does the job. I hate to think what would happen to this calculation over a very large data set. Or maybe its would be more, surely not. Surely a simple filter instead of all these ifs. There's a lot of if going on here. I see a lot of ifs, which says to me that it requires a lot of the function engine, right? I don't think that would be very efficient. But it works. Can't complain. That's awesome. Okay, so let's create an average min. Copy, copy, copy. Oh, I can't see. I naturally do this. I'm gonna complain to Microsoft about this. Why can't I just right click and say duplicate measure? I do it so often. Instead, I have to do this, and then Control A, and then I miss. And I have to do it again. Click in here, Control A, Control C, new measure. Look how many clicks this is. Average min. And then I have to find where this equals min temp. Hit tick. We'll replace our normal min with our average min. That should look the same, I guess. Nothing should change. Oh, it even actually, is it outperforming ours because it goes all the way? Looked like that extended a little bit. This shouldn't change as I select different years. It's pretty slow. It is pretty slow. I don't know if ours is much faster, but that's taken a while to do each one. All right, let's go back to our calculation here. Let's put in the ChatGPT numbers. Oh, let's see how quick it is when humans do it. Okay, so that's changing relatively quickly. Well, wouldn't say super quick. 1 cat dog, 2 cat dog. So within 3 seconds. 1 cat. Yeah, well, that was caged, I think. 1 cat dog, 2 cat. Yep, easily within 3 seconds. All right, we probably could use a visualization like thing to see that. Okay, let's get rid of normal max and normal min. We'll put in our ChatGPT average max and average min. We will edit this. We will redo the mapping for our normal max, normal min to the correct measures, which is average max, average min, apply mapping, and it works. 1 cat dog, 2 cat dog, 3 cat dog, 4 cat dog, 5 cat dog, 6 cat dog, 7 cat dog. 7 seconds. 2 cat dog, 3 cat. 6 cat. Yeah, 6 or 7 seconds to change instead of 3. Humans win. So ChatGPT, a little bit faster in terms of getting to the solution for that particular measure, but less efficient DAX. An observation from a programmer friend from Shelley. ChatGPT is like an amateur programmer with access to every language books, knows the functions, but specifics about how to need to put it together. Yep. I've had a great time laughing along with everyone's following the ChatGPT saga. Thanks to everybody. Yeah, good on you, everyone. Appreciate you. It's always good when there's people making jokes on the side. I like it too. It's good fun for me. Cat dog. Love a bit of cat dog. Haven't thought about cat dog in a long time. Well, I don't know what the lesson is out. Well, the lesson out of this is ChatGPT is really good at you can build complex things iteratively in ChatGPT. We built this whole visualization, including that complex measure in ChatGPT, which is really unbelievably impressive. But a human who knows what they're doing is still going to get there probably more efficiently and in a slightly better way at this stage. Could you ever write a ChatGPT prompt that produced this entire visualization? I don't even know where you would begin with that. So it would be interesting to ask it for a prompt that did the thing and see, okay, I'm going to do that. This will be the end of the situation. All right, well done. This works. You are amazing. Amazing. For future reference, can you write a prompt for ChatGPT that will get the LLM to create this measure? The prompt only describe by someone with no DAX experience. Here's a prompt for the situation. This is interesting. You know what I'm going to do? I'm now going to create a new prompt and paste this in and see what it comes up with. Aim to duplicate measure functionality. Yeah, let's start a movement on duplicate measure. I'll start a vote thing. If there's not already a vote thing there, if there's a vote thing there, I'll post it out and then everyone vote for it. Doesn't understand the use of functions will slow it down for a large data set when I started coding a few years ago. Yeah, I wonder too. It's obviously going to get better as more examples out there, correct examples are out there for it to do. And then, yeah, maybe. Because, I think ChatGPT is unbelievable at Python. And Michael's right. There's so much Python stuff out there on the net. That's why it's so good at Python, because everyone's pretty much done everything and it's there on the net for people and all the different examples and stuff are there. But yeah, it's interesting. Be interesting to interesting to see what it does. All right, what's this prompt say? I've got a so it describes pretty much the table as I did at the start. I have a related calendar that provides a date dimension, has a day of year column. So that's exactly what I wrote at the beginning. I'd like to create a measure that calculates the average temperature for a specified number of days surrounding any given date across all years in the data set. For example, if I choose the number 15 days, so it's copying my prompt except for the all years thing. 31 should temperature for 15 days and should also account for wrapping around start of the end of the year, considering days from end of, can you, okay, oh my God, I'm going to do it. Okay, copy, new chat. Can you do this in a single prompt? Who knows? It thinks so. Based on your requirements, we're going to create a okay, it's going to join some tables. It's going to do a filter. Oh, it put colon equals like old school DAX from Excel and analysis services. I like it. That's some proper old school DAX. Selected day of year is it uses selected value for the day of year instead of the max, which is fine. I think that'll work. Oh man, is this going to work? Surely not. Oh, God, it looks pretty good. Oh, it looks good. Ooh, copy code.
I'll be so surprised if it works.
All right, let's go back to our little test page. I created in the calendar. It doesn't matter. Is Chat GPT amazing? Equals. I'll forgive it the colon. Calendar day of year. Cannot find the name. It's doing a reference to the wrong thing. So it need to put in that related. Remember, it had a related in the other one. That's what I think. I think it would just wrap it in related and it would work. Or maybe not. I'm not gonna labor this point. I wanted to see if it would do it in the first go, and it didn't. So bad luck. ChatGPT, not amazing, but it is pretty amazing. Let's face it. That was a pretty good effort. Good effort, but no dice. That is it, my friends. We've done it for another lunch. Congratulations. We've learned that ChatGPT can do complicated DAX if you give it enough chances. I don't think we cheated too much. I think that was pretty good. Hopefully next week, my plan is I want to maybe do a little bit of data engineering. I want to get my weather data for my little thing. I want to update the weather data to the latest years because we've only got up to 2019 at the moment. So I've got 4 years worth of data to bring in. And I thought I'd do that in Fabric because why not? Fabric's fun. I enjoy doing a bit of fabricating. That's a thing that people are trying to get going, isn't it? So we'll be fabricators next week and do some data engineering. We'll pull that data down. Hopefully we can do it dynamically. That would be even better. So it's always up to date whenever I hit refresh. But that's going to be the plan. In the meantime, thanks all. It's great to see you all. Have a great weekend. It's lovely sunny weather. Go and have a beer. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thanks as always, mate.
Thanks.
Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
man. Thank you.